Picking up on that last point, can the U.S. simply back out of the Paris Climate Change Agreement if President Trump wants to? My colleague, Elaine Reyes, put that question to Aminah Zaghab. She's an advocate for global warming solutions at Environment America.
Yeah, I think that the Paris Climate Change Accord is, first of all, this is not an easy thing to undo. Regardless of what reports or statements may be, this is a long, arduous process embroiled in international law. And I think that there's also a momentum that the Paris Climate Agreement started that can't be stopped no matter who the next administration may be. You see mayors across the country doubling down on their commitment to Paris. You see that multinational corporations, hundreds of them, are taking out ads in newspapers calling for us to stay in Paris, right? These are momentous forces that an administration can acknowledge or not, but are very real and actually move the economy regardless of where we may stand in the treaty.
Let's talk about climate change goals. You know, each country has their own game plan to combat climate change with the Paris Agreement, but you know, each country also has their different approaches, their own style, the way they want to get there. Does it matter if each country has a different approach, or if the end result and the goals are the same? I mean, does it really matter?
No, I think that's a great question, and that was part of what was really special about the Paris Agreement, that countries could set goals consistent with each other, but apply them with their own country's kind of best interests and best plans. I think that in the end, they all rely on clean energy and clean transportation and deployment of those technologies and building up of those economies, which in the end are going to be global markets. So I think that there is some difference in when certain countries start, but in the end, we're all building towards the end goal of net zero carbon.
How does climate change actually create opportunity for new models of economic growth?
Well, and that's an exciting question that we're seeing a lot of different ways to apply across the world. But at its basis, climate change requires that to avert the worst impacts, we must drastically reduce emissions, and we must start as soon as possible. And so what we're seeing is this is an opportunity to invest in new technologies and try new models of energy application. So here in the US, actually 97% of new energy added to the grid in early 2016 was wind and solar, which means that wind energy is now cheaper in many Midwest states than coal or natural gas. And I think that's a resounding economic opportunity for how you can create this kind of new system.
What about when it comes to jobs, though, in regards to green energy? Because a lot of people are still seeing this as not really something to be taken seriously. They don't understand how it can help.
Yeah, I think that that's something that we've continued to try and build a narrative around. And the fact is that clean energy jobs actually are local jobs, right? They can't be outsourced. There are actually economic benefits far beyond just the jobs, where the savings on health and environmental impacts can be quite significant to the economy. And these are jobs protected from the volatility of fossil fuel spikes. Right? And we've actually seen that if there is a global commitment to 100% renewable energy, that adds 20 million jobs worldwide by 2030. And it brings electricity to the 1/3 of the world population that currently doesn't have access.
Aminah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.